Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football. We get our first official depth chart from Coach Prime, the Colorado Buffs, heading into the game tonight against North Dakota State. A lot of you guys know these are, I should say, some of my favorite episodes to do, where we've talked extensively about the new names that are coming into this Colorado program. We talked extensively about the position battles that we saw kind of get waged throughout fall camp, and now we officially kind of get our answer in terms of how these position battles kind of shook out, how these new faces stack up in this Colorado program. I want to get into some of the bigger surprises that we got from this Colorado depth chart. I think most notably Tyler Brown kicking out to right tackle, no Nikhai Hill-Green listed at the linebacker group. Going to get into a few of those things now. Before we do, and as always, a massive shout out to the Colorado fans. It's been a blast talking this program the last couple of days, previewing North Dakota State. The amount of support y'all continue to show to the fellas, it means the absolute world. We appreciate you guys. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. But more importantly, would love to hear some of your biggest takeaways from this Colorado depth chart. And without further ado, let's get into it. I don't think we're surprised with the running back room. Obviously not surprised by the quarterback position, but the running back room, that's kind of what we heard coming out of fall camp. Now, I expect Dallin Hayden to get a lot of work tonight against North Dakota State. One of the things that I kind of took away from the wide receiver room, and that we expected this, I think Colorado's going to play a lot of 4 wide receiver sets tonight, really challenge North Dakota State in terms of an athleticism standpoint on the outside. That is certainly the route that I would want to go to as well. Draylon Miller making the 2 deep. Now, we're not surprised by LaJohntay Wester, Travis Hunter, Jimmy Horn, and Will Shepard being your starting wide receivers. What I was a little bit surprised with is Draylon Miller, who was not enrolled during spring practice, coming into fall camp and making the 2 deep for the Colorado program. Now, the Colorado fans who've been rocking with the boys the last couple of months know Draylon Miller was one of my guys in the 2024 class. I kind of called him Baby Deebo Samuel. And now I get that's lofty, a lofty player comp, lofty expectations for a true freshman. I try to avoid those kind of player comps. That being said, you turn on the film with Draylon Miller, he's built like a running back, right? 5'11", 205, bigger than a lot of the running backs that are in this Colorado room. What he can do with the football in his hands, not only from an athleticism standpoint, but also a physicality standpoint, he's just a playmaker. And I don't think Draylon Miller as a true freshman is going to play a ton of football tonight against North Dakota State, but I wouldn't be surprised to get him 5 to 10 reps, just get a few plays where he can get the football in his hands and kind of create an explosive play. So I would certainly keep my eyes on number 6 at the wide receiver spot. Looking at the offensive line, I think the biggest surprise is Tyler Brown kicking over to right tackle. Now, I'm not necessarily that concerned. We kind of said this when Khalil Benson transferred in back in the winter. Yes, Khalil Benson played tackle at Indiana coming over, but when you turn on the film, you kind of just screams guard to you, because this is a guy that you want in kind of that phone booth situation. He is a mauler. He's probably the nastiest offensive lineman on this Colorado offensive line. That being said, he's probably not the premier athlete. And so you saw him struggle at times in the Big Ten dealing with some really athletic edge rushers. I think Khalil Benson's best position is on the inside when you allow him to play in a little bit of tighter spaces, let him put hands on opposing defensive linemen. So I look at that and say, I guess we're a little surprised because he repped at right tackle for a lot of fall camp, and then towards later on in fall camp, he kicked inside. Tyler Brown at right tackle, that's probably what we're looking at now. You look at Tyler Brown, Coach Prime, I don't think trusts many more players on this Colorado roster than Tyler Brown. I think this speaks to just Tyler Brown being the ultimate team player. This is a guy that can play probably every single position on the offensive line, right? Center, guard, now showing he can play right tackle. We've never seen Tyler Brown play right tackle. I just looked it up. Hasn't played tackle once during his college football career, so this will be his first start ever at any level at the tackle spot. So we'll certainly keep our eyes on that. But I think one of the things that I'm kind of taking away here is this is a deep offensive line. You look at Yakuri Walker or Phillip Houston, Zach Owens, Peyton Kirkland. I mean, these were guys that some of them have played a lot of college football in their careers. In Zach Owens and Peyton Kirkland's case, they have been they were heavily recruited out of high school for reasons, right? Zach Owens coming from Clemson, Peyton Kirkland coming from Texas. I think that kind of speaks to the depth within this Colorado offensive line. Now, switching to the defensive side of the football, I think my biggest takeaway is probably the depth on the defensive line as well, where you look at BJ Green, who you look at and say in 2023, BJ Green was a second team all Pac-12 edge rusher. And he's going to be in the 2 deep for this Colorado program with Samuel Okunlola and Deion Hayes getting the start. Now, you're going to see plenty of BJ Green throughout Thursday night's game. That being said, again, I think that highlights what a lot of people are missing about this Colorado team, and that is they got higher quality players in the transfer portal. There's no question about that. But the depth on this Colorado defensive line, it's good. You look at Torian Carter on the inside. He's going to be in the 3 deep here. Torian Carter started 6 games in the SEC last year for Arkansas. And so you look at this Colorado defensive line, everybody talking about how North Dakota State is going to impose their will, run the football on this Colorado front seven. I look at it and say, yeah, North Dakota State, we're giving them a lot of respect. This is a North Dakota State team that is certainly dangerous, but I'm not just chalking up Colorado's defensive line anymore, because I look at it and say, you got some real talent who are going to start for you. But I think this defensive line in terms of depth is really good as well. Linebacker spot, Trevor Woods, Levante Bentley. I think the biggest takeaway is no Nikhai Hill-Green. Now, the Colorado fans know I've been a big Nikhai Hill-Green fan. As a Michigan fan myself, very familiar with his game. I think we were all really excited about him taking the field for Colorado. I'm not sure if you guys know if it's an injury, if he's just a healthy scratch. I would love for you guys to light it up in the comment section. Moving back to the secondary, Preston Hodge starting at nickel. I know there was some buzz around Travis Hunter playing the nickel role. It just made too much sense for Preston Hodge. Preston Hodge is legit a very good nickel, and most importantly, he's a really good tackler, especially in this kind of game where we are going to have our nickel corners probably have to tackle a lot in the box. You probably don't want to put Travis Hunter in that position, not because he can't, but you don't want Travis Hunter making 12-plus tackles a game. Go let Preston Hodge, who goes 6 foot, 200 pounds, be that physical presence as that nickel corner in the box. You look at the boundary cornerback spot, Travis Hunter, DJ McKinney, and say, I don't see North Dakota State having much success against those kind of cornerbacks. Shiloh Sanders, I would foresee playing a lot in the tackle box tonight as well as a box safety. Not too many surprises. A couple surprises, I think most notably keeping an eye on Tyler Brown getting that start at right tackle. Wanted to hop on, give you guys some of my thoughts and opinions. Again, the amount of support y'all have shown the fellas, it's been amazing. We appreciate you guys. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. We'll hop on later tonight, talk about what we saw. Appreciate you guys, and we'll talk to y'all later.